Welcome to Business Breakdowns, the channel where we break down the stories of the most successful companies in the world. If you enjoy this video, please hit the like and subscribe button so more people can hear stories like these. When Tina Fey said that a perfect day ends with Shake Shack, the likes of Ansel Elgort and Aziz Ansari agreed with her. I am Daniel Meyer, founder of Shake Shack, and I couldn't help but be proud of the popularity of our fast food chain. Ironically, this was never my intended goal for the brand. What started as a community building exercise led to the creation of one of the fastest growing fast food chains, making me one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the restaurant industry. I started off as a small manager, climbing up to the top to become an executive. I've been told that my job is one that millions would kill for. I was born in 1958 to a Jewish family in St. Louis, Missouri. There was a deep admiration of France in my household. We spoke French and even had a dog named Ratatouille.
All right, hold up.
This fascination was fed by frequent trips to Europe because of my father's job in the travel business. It was on these trips that I was exposed to a wide variety of foods and tastes, something that proved significant later in my life. During my college years, I worked for my father as a tour guide in Rome. I graduated with a degree in political science and even worked for a few political campaigns, but my heart wasn't really in it. Soon, I realized that my true passion wasn't to be a lawyer, but instead work at a restaurant. My first restaurant experience was an assistant manager in Pesca, an Italian seafood restaurant in New York City, followed by studying cooking in Italy and France. I was so delighted by my choice to study the culinary arts in Europe that at the age of 27, I felt that I was ready. I launched my first restaurant, Union Square Cafe. During the first couple of months, business was slow, and I had to work hard to retain my employees. A review from a New York Times food critic was all it took to change the tide. Brian Miller, an acquaintance of mine, set the ball rolling, changing everything once the article was published. Union Square Cafe had many new customers, all of whom were dying to taste the talked about food. During this time, though I was overjoyed about my restaurant's performance, the thought of expanding terrified me. You see, I linked expansion with failure because of my father's experience. My father had had to file for bankruptcy twice in his life. It was therefore almost impossible to persuade me to take that risk. However, the unfortunate demise of my father made me realize that we were not the same person. His experiences weren't the same as mine. I decided to take a leap of faith, and 9 years after opening my first restaurant, I was finally ready for more. The first few months after my second restaurant opened were really tough. They consisted of long days where business was slow, followed by even longer worry-filled nights where I stayed up wondering if I had made the right choice. I burdened myself with getting the new restaurant up and running while also ensuring that the old one did not suffer. I soon realized that I was being too hard on myself. There was no reason to worry. I applied a more laid-back approach, which ended up helping both restaurants. In this way, I went on to set up several restaurants, which established me as one of New York's finest restaurateurs. I wanted to provide fine dining at affordable prices, at restaurants that weren't hoity-toity, so to speak. Each would be a place where people felt free to ask for help with the pronunciation of names on the menu, while also remaining upscale enough to give them a fine dining experience. Continuing this work, I came across Madison Square Park, a place I completely fell in love with, the same way I did with Union Square Park. I took on a new initiative to encourage people to visit the park by undertaking a new restaurant venture. This led to a new challenge for me, turning away from fine dining and towards fast food in a roadside setting. I like to call it fine casual. Fine because the ingredients would be sourced the same way as my upscale restaurants, and casual because, well, eating burgers in a park doesn't exactly sound too button-down formal, does it? I went through a lot of names before deciding on Shake Shack. Frosty Shake, Madison Mixer, Parking Lot, Custard's First Stand, Dog Run, and Custard Park were some of the other names I considered. Initially, in 2003, it was just a hot dog stand. People flocked to the stand as expected. The park was looking for permanent fixtures, and I won the bid. Shake Shack was now expanding into a kiosk, which was accompanied by an expansion of our menu into burgers, fries, and of course, shakes. If given the choice to gorge on fast food while taking a stroll in the park, any sane person would take it. Before long, people were coming in from everywhere to eat at Shake Shack. On warm weekends, the queue would last hours. This led us to introducing live streaming of the long queue on our website. Expansion was inevitable. The chain was expanding into locations outside New York City. It grew so fast that it became the largest part of my portfolio. When we went public, the chain held its own as an able competitor to McDonald's. Shake Shack has made me an extremely famous entrepreneur. From someone who was scared to open a second restaurant to someone who didn't even have the time to attend all his restaurant openings, I came a long way. I admit that this is a scenario that I wouldn't ever have dreamed of. What brought me here was thinking unconventionally. I introduced some landmark changes in my restaurants that did cause debates, but were appreciated nonetheless. Right from banning tipping to focusing on hospitality and the employer-employee relationship, there are many things that I tried to do differently. They have all carried their share of anxiety, but I was firm in my stance. Ever since I took some career-defining risks, I have not looked back, believing that luck was always on my side with every accomplishment. In fact, each milestone only made me push to newer heights and create something better. If there's one main takeaway from my journey, it's that if something you want doesn't exist, create it. You can make it. There are many things that you will learn on the way, and it's perfectly okay to go slow. I hope you enjoyed learning about my journey. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave us a comment below and let us know what you thought about the video. If you guys liked that video, please hit the like button. It does wonders for the YouTube algorithm. Just the research and the editing alone of these type of videos takes us close to 18 hours. So we would really appreciate it if you could check out our Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can support our work. We produce over like 12 videos per month, so that's literally 8 cents per video. Thanks so much, guys. Peace out.